ended up drunk and homeless, okay? And in 2011, and this is not in my book, and this is why I want to show you. I found this a couple years ago when I was selling my house. I was going through all my paperwork, and it floored me. I had forgotten I had this. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
This is my homeless picture.
That's you?
That's me. Yep, it is me from, you can see 2011 right there. April 19, 2011.
What?
Right?
Did you recognize yourself?
No, I'm like, oh my God. Like the only reason I had this picture was because I was drunk and homeless. I was homeless for 7 days. I had lost my nursing career. I had lost everything I owned. I was just it was just a story.
Yeah.
And the only reason I had this is because when you need identification to get identification.
Welcome to the Career Safari podcast, where we celebrate the bold, the messy, and powerful journeys of women carving their own career paths. I'm your host and founder of Career Safari, Juanita, and in each episode, we sit down with a woman somewhere in the world who's chosen to embrace her career journey. And we do this because now more than ever, we need to continue to recognize and document that there are women everywhere still carrying the torch for us. So we're here to celebrate their stories and listen to their wisdom. So here we are in season 3, and in season 3, we're diving deep into career risk and everything surrounding our torchbearers' most defining and memorable career risk and moments. And I think this is an important topic because sometimes you have to shake some tables in your life. And I'm very curious about the circumstances that surround why someone might shake the tables in their life. So I'm happy to start doing this season. I'm happy to start focusing on this theme for all of us. In this episode, today's torchbearer is anything but conventional. I would say she is remarkable. She spent 13 years as a nurse, and now she drives what's known as the largest equipment vehicle in the world, which is a 400-ton Caterpillar truck. And because I am who I am, I wanted to put that in perspective for you. And she could correct me if I'm wrong here, but that's like driving 4, if you know, like that Chicago bean sculptures, you know, that I think it's called like the 4 Seasons or whatever it's called. It's like driving 4 of those Chicago bean sculptures. It's also the equivalent of driving 8 full-grown adult whales. And if you know anything about adult whales, they are quite thick. So just think about it. The sheer strength it takes to operate something like that, like physically, mentally, emotionally, is like incredible. And to do that as a woman, even more powerful. And if you're like me, you're asking, where does all this strength come from? Well, her strength goes far beyond the driver's seat. Her path has been shaped by direct experiences with trauma, violence, and sexual abuse that started in her childhood years. Experiences that, while painful, have given her deep compassion, wisdom, and a fierce sense of purpose, and that will come out right when you start hearing her talk. She now uses her story to help others take bold and healing steps toward the lives they truly want. So from Canada all the way, although she's living in Minnesota, this month's torchbearer is Kathy Tuccaro. Kathy, man, I'm so excited to talk with you.
And I wore my special shirt, Fearless, just for you.
Yay! I know I said a lot there, but you deserve that and more.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to celebrate you. I'm so happy to expose others to your remarkable, unconventional journey. I like to start in the same place. What's the name of your career safari? What did you name your career journey?
What did I name it? Oh, Steel Courage.
How about that?
Kind of blank there. Steel Courage, because I operate the largest mining equipment in the world, and it's steel, and it takes a lot of courage to do it.
Yes, steel. So like steel.
What do we call it? I ride a steel horse.
So literally you named it Steel Courage because of how massive it is, or everything else that came before that?
of my book, and you can see me standing beside the tire. There's me.
Oh
These
my God.
tires are 14 feet tall. I climb up these stairs and I sit in this cab for 13 hours a day. 2.5 stories to get here. When this box is up, it's 5 stories tall. There you go. I don't know if you can kind of see there.
No, we can see, and
Yeah.
it's massive. And if you're just listening, of course, come on YouTube and see it.
Yeah, yeah,
But she's a tiny little figure next to a big steel contraption.
yeah, yeah.
So okay. Let me ask some just basic ignorant questions.
Okay.
What does that tractor do?
It's a haul truck, and I operate in an open pit mine. So we haul dirt. I move dirt from point A to point B, basically.
And how long are you out there? Because I know you just came back from multiple
Yeah, no,
shifts.
we work 14 days and then we get 14 days off. But we work 12.5 hours every day. Every day. So you just eat, work, sleep, eat, work, sleep. I live up in camp for 2 weeks and then I fly home for 2 weeks.
How
So
many women are out there doing what you're doing?
on my crew right now, I think there's 6 of us out of 110. So
Okay.
yeah, we used to be a lot more, but I don't know, numbers are dwindling.
Okay, let's start now with like your beginning days
Okay.
to give people, I mean, you are this fearless woman of steel. So where were you in your early 20s? Were you working? Were you at school? Were you lost?
No, early 20s. Well, I'm going to be very blunt about this. I
Yeah,
had been
please.
gang raped when I was 20, and I tried to jump off a bridge. I swallowed a bunch of pills. I cut my wrists. I couldn't cope with anything. I had no help from my immediate family. I was in downtown Montreal. And so I did the next best thing. I made a geographical move. So I had $150 in my pocket, a suitcase, and I got on the train that crossed Canada from Quebec all the way to Alberta as far as I could go. And I decided to start over. But I mean, I'm starting over with a whole boatload of pain. And so you could only carry that for so long. But I did. I was at that mentality that, what happens in the past stays in the past, let sleeping dogs lie. I ended up meeting my daughter's father. We got married. I did the right thing. That didn't work out. And I decided to become a nurse. And I was a single mom as a nurse, a nursing student, and put myself through nursing school and did that for 13 years. But the whole problem with that is that I was really good at putting on a great smile, and I was really good at taking care of everybody else. I'm working 12, 13, 14 hours, two different shifts, because it's easy for me to take care of you. It's easy. It takes me out of my own pain. But what I didn't realize by doing that is that trauma is just like an infection, right? When you have a wound, even though it's in there, it just gets toxic, it gets septic, it just, it ferments. And then at some point it's going to blow. And it did. So that all the trauma that I had, it was coming out in bad ways. So I started drinking alcohol. And do you make good decisions when you drink alcohol? No. So the men that I picked, there was 2 men I was with from 2000 to 2007, were very, very abusive. I should be dead 10 times over. I was strangled 3 times to the point of losing consciousness. I was held underwater in a tub. Just like a whole bunch of awful things. I mean, under constant threat of being sold into human trafficking, threat of disappearing, So it was very traumatic. And at the same time, I'm nursing, and I'm going home to this, and I have no escape. And he stalked me. I had a bodyguard that would follow me at my every move. Like it was horrible. And I had no hope, no escape. And so finally, at the age of 40, I call it the great escape, which I did, which was fine. And I thought that I could, continue on with such a damaged mind. And I couldn't. And because you like to think you're tough. You like to think you're a survivor, that, what, I got this, it's all good. But you need that paycheck, right? So you got to push yourself to put that one foot in front of the other. And so I did that. But at one point I showed up. I remember my nursing had 10 patients to take care of. I was working the night shift. And I look at my sheet, and I couldn't read the words. I couldn't see. I couldn't understand. It's like my brain just shut down. And I knew right then that I was done, that I couldn't pretend, and I couldn't continue on saying that I'm okay when I wasn't anymore. I finally accepted that I wasn't okay. And so I went from the medical unit down to the psychiatric unit, where they lock you up.
Yeah.
Because I thought, you know what, I'm going to go get help. So I run down in between the 2 stages, the 2 nursing units. I'm in my nursing scrubs, and I'm pounding on the door, let me in, let me in. I see the nurse on the other side of, because it's a locked unit. She's calling security, get her out, get her out. Two security guards dragged me in my scrubs like this, like I'm on my knees. They dragged me all the way down the hall, down to the emergency room. And they put me in the rubber room so I wouldn't hurt myself. And it was the first time in my life, at the age of 40, that I spoke to a psychiatric doctor. And it was the first time that I talked about my child sexual abuse. It was the first time that I told anyone I was raped at 14, that I was attacked at 15, I was drugged and raped at 18, I was gang raped at 19. You know, this whole thing. My mother didn't even know. So when I'm telling this doctor, I was sure, positive he was going to stamp me on the forehead, tell me, that I was either bipolar, schizophrenic, maybe multiple personality. Maybe I was sure he was going to tell me there was something wrong with me and that he's going to lock me up under a 72-hour observation and then give me some happy pills and all is good. So at the end of this 2-hour interview, I said, so are we going to go? And he's like, go where? And I'm like, well, aren't you going to take me away and lock me up? And he says, oh no. Oh, my dear. He says, no amount of pills are going to fix you. You need to fix you. And boy, was he right. He says, you need to quit drinking and you need to address these problems. And I did. And once I did that, I realized I needed a new career, which is why I'm here on your podcast, because how do you change careers, right? And I was 42 by this time, and it's not that easy. It's really not.
Yeah. So in your 20s, after the gang rape happened and after the suicide attempt happened, what made you keep going?
Well, this is going to sound really weird, but I was in the hospital with I had slit my wrist, so I had 28 stitches, and I'm waiting there in the hospital, and this deer. I was in Jasper, Alberta. It's a mountain town, and this deer would come to my window every single day. And
like a real deer. I'm thinking like deer, D-E-A-R.
No, a deer, an animal, right?
Okay.
The horns would come to my window every day, and this deer had these rags all stuck in his horns, and I'm like, oh, you poor thing, you have to walk around life, and you got all these things hanging off you. But the look that this deer had, there was a connection there. The deer gave me the strength to keep going, believe it or not.
Wow.
Right? And then a pastor came in, because they send pastors to people who are suicidal. So he came to talk to me, and he got me connected to going back to school, and he kind of got me back on track. And then, and then I fell pregnant, and my daughter was my motivation after that. And she is to this day. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Like I said, this is a remarkable, remarkable woman, Kathy. And we're going to break down several parts of what you just shared. So in your 20s, you were faced with a lot.
Yes.
And you made a lot of small steps, I would say, to get you into nursing.
Mm-hmm.
And you spent 13 years in that space. So what made you enter it and what made you exit?
Well, when I left my daughter's dad, I was only making $8 an hour, and I was working as a secretary, and I hated it. I'm like, oh my God, shoot me. So a friend told me, she said, well, they're hiring nursing assistants down the road at this hospital for $10 an hour. And I'm like, hey, $10 is better than $8, right?
We will take that $2 an hour,
right?
for sure.
And I was a single mom. My daughter was only 2 or 3. And so I applied every Friday for 3 months straight until I finally get an interview. And the lady says, why? I'm only giving you an interview just so you know, just because I want to see the face of the person who's applying for a job who has no experience and no education. She says, why do you keep applying? And I said, because I know who I am as a person, and I know I'd make a good nurse. So she says, okay, you come in tomorrow, you do a job shadowing thing, and if you do well, we'll talk. I'm like, okay. So I came in the next day. I outshined her entire staff.
Wow.
Not only did she hire me full time, they paid for my nursing assistant education. The hospital paid for it. They did. I promise. Yeah, they did. Yeah. And
if you can't see me, my mouth is like hanging open right now. Like, what?
I'm like, I know I can do the job. So yeah. And so then that nursing attendant wasn't enough. So I had to go continue on to be a nurse, right? But yeah.
Wow. Resilient is the word that comes to me right now. And there's something very poetic about, even though you have been, I would say, under attack, you knew yourself. You knew to some degree your gifts and your capabilities. Did you understand how powerful that inner strength was already in you?
No, no. Well, I've always known since I've been very young that there's something inside me that's greater than most. And I was trying to find the right avenue for it. It's kind of like a feeling. When it overtakes me, there's no stopping me.
Mm.
So it's like that fire. So when I knew that I can do this job, I'm going to do it. So I did, right? I pushed until I did. And the same goes in my current career.
Then what made you decide to leave nursing?
Well, it's not that I decided to leave. It's because by then I had 40 years of unaddressed trauma and abuse, and
Wow.
I hit that wall, and I couldn't function anymore. I ended up drunk and homeless, okay? Like, the only reason I had this picture was because I was drunk and homeless. I was homeless for 7 days. I had lost my nursing career. I
Mhm.
had lost everything I owned. I was just it was just a story.
Yeah.
And the only reason I had this is because when you need identification to get identification, right? I didn't have it. So I had been robbed. I literally only had the shirt on my back. And I'm like, oh my God. So the homeless center in Canada, they have a valid identification form so you can go get ID. So that is why I have this picture, is
Yeah.
because of that reason. But I mean, 10 years later, hang on, don't wait. 10 years later to the day, I'm on the cover of a magazine.
Let's talk about it.
Right? 10 years
What?
later, Blake Line magazine. Hard hat and stilettos.
Hard hat and stilettos with the full blowout and blonde hair and red lip and a hard hat.
I know. And I was like, if only Toothless Joe could see me now. Holy crap.
Toothless
True story.
And Toothless Joe was a real person in your life.
Well, no, on this, okay, right after that picture, I'm depressed. I'm like a zombie, as you could
Yeah.
see. This man who was like the icon of the homeless center, he walks up to me. He slaps me on the back. To this day, I call it a God smack, because when he touched me, he went like this. This is the life. Live it. Love it. Like, but when he did that, it's like decades of depression. It just shattered in a billion pieces. And I look up and I saw crystal clear. I can't explain it. And it was so bright. And I look around and I look at him and I said, what did you just say? And I said, this is not my life. And I actually stomped my foot and I said, this is not my life. I had no hope. I had no plan, no master goal, no nothing. All I knew was that I was going to make a decision, that I was going to do whatever it took to get away from that guy. So that's it. That was my plan. So I turned around and I walked. We were a block away from the local hospital and I went to detox I went there because I was drinking a lot of vodka. And I stayed there for 2 weeks and I went back to that women's program and I said, I'm not leaving here until I figure this out.
Wow.
So yeah,
10 years later, you're on a cover of a magazine.
10 years later. Yeah. And 2 years, this picture on my book, you
Yeah.
can't see it. It's the first day on site. I hadn't even climbed up to the truck yet. So I'm standing there and I'm going like this. I'm crying in the picture because this picture was taken exactly 2 years from Toothless Joe. Yes. So I'm thinking of Toothless Joe in this picture. I'm thinking, how do I go drunk and homeless to drive this big thing? Like, oh my God. Like, am I on a different planet? Right?
Those are the first person I ever featured on Career Safari. Before it was even a podcast, it was just
Yeah.
a blog. One of the lessons I took from her, and I am Christian and, I believe in the Bible. It was that in the Old Testament, essentially, it was important for the early prophets to stop and make a monument of a moment. So after Saul would win a fight, he would stop and make a memorial to it. And she said basically one of her lessons in life was like to stop, pause, and reflect and build some sort of like monument or memorabilia to show how far in this way God has taken you. So it really, I feel like that picture was one of those like stop, pause, and build like a monument around, like, look at how far you've come.
Right?
There is nothing that is by
Oh my
accident
gosh.
about what you've been building.
Thank you.
So thank you for sharing that. So from leaving the homeless shelter
Yeah.
to going back to the women's, I guess, facility, everything in between, what made you or motivated you to get into trucking of all things? Because the world was your oyster once you had that wake-up call.
Okay, well, that's a little bit of a story. So at the end of my journey in the women's shelter or the women's recovery home, you had to go back to work or get another job. And I didn't have a nursing career, and I was 42. What do I want to be when I grow up? I don't know. So I went to a career planning workshop, and it was a 3-day thing where they gave you aptitude test, personality test. And so when I went, I did all their thing. And on the third day, the lady, the facilitator, gives me my test back. And I kid you not, in big letters across the top said heavy equipment operator. I look at that and I laughed so hard, I just about fell off my chair. I'm like, you've got to be joking. I said, I'm 42. I'm a woman. I don't even like equipment. I'm not mechanically inclined. And come on, it's a man's job, right? There was a guy next to me. I said, your test is wrong. It's probably his. I give her back the test. The lady puts a hand on her hip, goes like this, and says, if only you believe in yourself a little bit, missy, you'd see the test is right. She gave me the test back. And I'm like, huh. She turns around, puts a video on YouTube. It's possible. So I'm sitting here with my arms crossed thinking, I just wasted 3 whole days. This is bullshit, like blah, 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 right? But I'm listening to this video where the guy's talking about if you have a goal or a dream, don't ask yourself, can you achieve it? But rather, ask yourself, is there a minute possibility that you can do this? So I started thinking, well, I'm a good driver. I used to race cars when I was young. I could drive a truck. Then I'm thinking, I'm driving the 18-wheelers, from Canada to the States. I could do that. That's a career. So the lady, thank God to her, she sent me to a nonprofit organization here in Canada called Women Building Futures. So it's a nonprofit organization that big companies sponsor programs to get women into either welding, electrician, carpentry, plumbing, journeywoman, and heavy equipment. Day I walked in, had I gone a day earlier, I'd have missed it. The day I walk in, I went there half an hour early. ExxonMobil, the biggest oil and gas company in the world, happened to be there, and they were sponsoring 16 women to take a 12-week heavy equipment course. It was $18,000 per woman that they paid. So there was 158 women that applied for this course. Why would they pick me? I had nothing left to lose. You want me to do a backflip? I'll do a backflip. Anything you need, I'll do it.
And as we already know about your story,
right?
Once you set your mind to something, you do it.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, they had all these tests that we had to do, and I'll give you an example, okay? This is mindset. So we had to pass a math test, and in high school, I got 56 in grade 11 and 12. I sucked. I was terrible, right? Like I barely passed. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I haven't done math in 20 years. Like I'm terrible. And I asked the lady, do they take people based on grades? No, all you need is 50. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. Are they going to pick someone who's got 50 or someone who's got 80? Come on, right? So I was in recovery. Get this. I'm in recovery from 9 to 4 doing, self-esteem, boundaries, anger management, all these things during the day. Every night for a month, I'm taking free math tutoring classes from 7 to 9:30.
Wow.
I got 96 in math, right? I did a floor slide. I'm like, yes. I got 100 in English. Like, oh yeah, yeah.
This 40-year-old brain can still do it.
But here's the thing: I got picked, right? So out of the 16, now you gotta think. I'm 42. I spent literally since I was born being told how useless and stupid and ugly and fat and how dumb and I'll never amount to nothing and all this the negative talk in our ear. So I'm used to listening to that. So getting in the equipment, I have no self-esteem. I'm super shaky. I'm like, oh my God, I don't believe in myself. But as soon as I get in that equipment, oh my God, it's like, whoa, yeah.
You unlocked.
I'm in the excavator loading a rock truck. I'm like, look, I can do this. I can do this. All my girlfriends are like, go, Kathy, go.
And I love to remind people, and I love when torchbearers do exactly what you're doing, which is to remind people it is never too late. And that's clearly been a big motto that is a part of your journey. Am I right?
That's right.
So well, first you mentioned the book. What's the name of the book?
Dream Big.
Dream Big.
Yep. Kathy Tuccaro. There you go. Yep. Dream Big. That's that.
And how was that experience? Like, I'm assuming this is your autobiography.
It is. Yep.
Yeah.
I sat in one of the trucks and I hand wrote the books because we're not allowed recording devices. We're not allowed anything. I hand wrote the book in a month on a legal pad. It was ready to come out. Trust me. And then I got home and then I have many, many spiritual experiences. So Okay, let me just say something. If I did not have God, if I did not have faith in my life, I would
Mhm.
not be alive. I would have given up way long time ago. But I've had these very powerful spiritual experiences that I put some in the book. I didn't want to make it too much, but just to show people that, no matter what you're going through, there is a light, there is hope. I have been to the bottom of the barrel many times, and it's that you have to be able to find that inner strength inside to be able to reach out, to ask for help, because you can't do it alone. You can't. You need resources. So on my website, I must have about 100 resources available to people so that, it doesn't matter what state you're in. Oh, I can go here, I can go here, I can go here, right? Or in Canada or wherever. Because at the end at the end of the day, if I did not help myself and if I did not crawl out of that rut that I was in, I would not have been able to help my daughter. I would not have been able to help my mom, my two sisters who were in that same boat. The and I'm going to say hundreds of thousands of ladies that I've helped
Mm.
around the world since I've done this. It's unbelievable. And I'm just going to give you a little quick tidbit right here.
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
just bear with me, okay?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so behind me is my wall of love. You see that?
Oh,
Oh, hang on. I
man.
do this backwards. There. This is all letters, thank you letters, pictures, cards, gifts
Mm.
from people, children, parents, students, teachers, and whatnot, so that who have written to me, who have thanked me for whatever reason, who somehow have found inspiration through my story. So what I'm saying is that if you don't know what tomorrow holds for you. I did not know when I was standing with Toothless Joe. If someone would have told me that in 10 years you're going to be driving, you're going to be around the world, you're going to have a book in 4 languages, you're going to have a children's book, you're going to have this, you're going to have that, I'll be like, yeah, right. As if, right? You're high. There's no way. But you just don't know.
You don't
And I'm
know.
not saying that it happened overnight. It happened with that one decision to step
Mm.
away from Toothless Joe. One decision, because that's all I could focus on. My next step, my next step. You don't have to have a master plan, but at least you have to have one thing to help yourself. I mean, I
Mm.
laid on, and part of my story is I laid on the couch for 3 days waiting for God to save me. On the third day, I'm really, really depressed, right? This is before this whole thing. And I'm on my knees crying on the third day, and I'm crying and I'm just praying and I'm sobbing. On TV, there's a song that was playing. It was from the Foo Fighters. It was an acoustic version. It's called Another Round. And all it says is, can you go another round? I will follow you. So in the midst of my sobbing, right? I'm listening to the words, can you go another round? I will follow you. And I look up and because I question, can I go another round? Like I'm kind of questioning myself. I look up and I'm in this dark, dingy basement suite. There's no light. There's a window up there, and the window was completely blocked out. There's a ray of light that about the size of this. It came through and it hit me in the heart center. And now I'm looking at this, and inside the heart were stars, and there was blue, yellow, pink, orange, and they were spinning like this. And I'm looking, and it hit me here, and the song is playing. Can you go another round? I will follow you. So me being me, oh, you'll follow me. Hey, we'll see about that. So smart ass. So I get up, I move
That still
over,
wasn't enough.
right? So I get up, I move over to the kitchen. The light never left my heart center. So now it has my attention, right? So now I'm looking and I'm like, wow. So I go over to the couch because I still got to test it. I go over to the couch and I jump up and down. The light never left my heart. No matter where I went in that room, the song is playing. Can you go another round? I will follow you. If that isn't a sign from God, come on, right? So in that minute, I crash down on the floor on my knees and I say, okay, God, I surrender. I don't know. Clearly, you have a plan for me. I don't know what it is. This is in 2009, by the way,
Mm.
before the book. And I'm like, whatever it is, I'll do. And in that moment, I hear a voice. It says, Kathy, get up. So I freak out because I think it's my ex he used to stalk me all the time. And I turn around and look up. There's nobody there. And the voice said again, Kathy, get up. So
Mm.
I get up. There's a knock on the door. It was the guy that had been upstairs. He'd been gone for 3 days. He said, I had a bad feeling that you weren't okay. Do you need help? I'm like, take me to detox right now. And that was the beginning of my recovery because that brought me to the year-long program, which was
Mhm.
faith-based Christian
Mhm.
program, right, for women. So yeah. So
Ooh.
isn't that intense?
So, if anything, our season theme around career risk.
Yeah.
You've had some risk. I don't know if you would call them career risk, but when you think back, I mean, now you are a heavy machine operator,
Yeah,
you are an author, you are an award-winning podcast host,
I know.
which I've been on your podcast, thank you. So as you reflect on your journey and all of these stories, what do you feel are the biggest career risk you've taken?
Well, definitely that switch between, going from nursing to heavy equipment operator, there's no way. I'm still to this day. I'm like, "Huh? What? You're joking, right?" To this day. But no, and I've never seen that lady again, I think this is why that it's so impactful when I speak, when I'm talking at conferences and stuff, is because the whole spectrum, you go from one end of the spectrum to the other. How do you go from nursing to operating that? Like, oh my
Yep.
God, right? So it's so impactful to other women when I say, listen, you can be anything you want to be. You just got to step out of your comfort zone. So what if you've been in the corporate world forever? Go plug in a drill. You might like it. Go knock on some wood. Like, who knows? You don't know.
You
Like,
don't
my
know.
God. Okay. To this day, I've always had my ex-husband, put together all my stuff, like the computer desk, dressers and stuff. Now, hell no. Back up. I got the drill, right? Move
And I
on.
like it, and I like to do it.
And I like it. That's right. It's empowering.
So was there a moment where you were like, "What the heck did I get myself into? I just should go back to nursing."
Yes, yes. Okay, let me tell you this. All right. First month, I'm driving this truck, right? My self-esteem is really shaky, right? Because of that
Mhm.
long line of abuse. So I'm really, insecure about myself. So I'm driving through and I'm driving. They asked me to bring this truck to the maintenance yard. And because this truck is so big, you need to block the roads, right? Where pickups go through. So I had to call ahead to get security to come block the road so nobody would cross, right? And these things, when you see one go by and you're like, oh my God, like it's so
Hmm.
unbelievable. Watch YouTube videos. It's crazy. Anyway, so I'm in there and okay, you all know what PTSD is. Everybody knows, right? So in the middle of the intersection, okay? There's a whole slew of pickups this way, a whole slew of pickups this way. It's a beautiful day. People are getting out, having a smoke, taking a look at the truck, like, men talk like, oh my God. And the sound that they make. Okay, in the middle of this intersection, I get the worst PTSD flash of my life. It came to me from behind and it kind of went, whoo. It literally took the air out of my lungs and I couldn't breathe. I start to hyperventilate. I can't see the road. I can't see the wheel. I'm crying and all I see is the most humiliating images, moments of my life. I'm hearing the voices, all these name callings, right? And I'm reliving. I was not in that truck.
Mm.
And I start to so I did the smart thing. I rolled the window down to get some air. And then somehow, somewhere deep in my brain, I said, oh, hell no. I took all that crap, right? And I threw it out the window. I'm like this. I said, I said it out loud. My past does not define me. No, this stops here, right? Threw it out the window. So when you have something really negative inside you and you get rid of it, it leaves a hole. And what I learned in treatment is that you got to replace that hole with something positive.
Yeah.
So I did the only thing that came to mind that was instant. I thought I was in a parade, so I did the queen wave. I'm like, hi, it's Kathy. I started blowing kisses. How are you? Yes, it's Kathy. Doing the queen wave.
No. Were people seeing this?
I don't know.
You don't care.
I don't know. But you know what? It worked because ever since then, I've been fine. I haven't allowed, and I thought, to all those men who said who beat me, who stomped on me, who brutalized me, who's driving this truck? Who is driving this truck? Me, not them. So that shifted my whole perspective, and I never had any moments after that. After that, day by day, my self-confidence grew, and now, my God, if you would see what I do on the dozer, you'd fall off.
Yes, and you said something I wanna just, if you can, restate that. You said when you are removing something negative from your life, it leaves a hole,
Yeah,
and you must then go
replace it.
replace
Replace
it.
it with something positive. Always, always. So
And in this case, this was reminding yourself of who you are and the
I'm
queen
a
that you
queen,
are.
baby.
Queen Cassie arrived in that
Oh,
heavy equipment car
yeah.
that
But it
day.
honestly, it changed everything for me. That's that stupid wave.
I
Whatever.
love it.
Whatever
Whatever gets
works.
you through, and it whatever gets you through. What
Yeah.
I also wanna do, just to get to know you a little bit more, is do a game of, like, this or that. So I'm going to ask you to pick
Okay.
2 options. I know you didn't plan for this because I want you to surprise you.
Okay.
So you pick the ones you agree with more, and you can explain why or why not. So, and this is all related to, like, career risk. So, which is scarier for you, leaving a steady job or starting from scratch in a new field?
Leaving a steady job,
Why would you say that?
that comfort, that paycheck, you know it's there.
Don't part me with my consistent income, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. What's more important at your stage of life right now? Prioritizing your mental wellness or pushing yourself to hit a goal?
Mental wellness, absolutely. I've achieved many, many goals. I always have goals. In case you didn't notice, I ate hamsters, one wheel in this noggin, but nonstop. It's gonna go to the very end, right? But at this point, it's just more mental wellness because especially having spent my life taking care of everyone and now it's me time. Like
Mm.
my mom, I've been taking care of my mom for the last 6 years. She's 80. I got her set up in a home by my sister in Quebec. So she's well taken care of and now I can kind of breathe and, so it's kind of
Yeah,
like me
that
time.
I mean, that's a moment of pride, being able to take care of your mother in that
Oh my
capacity, so
gosh. Yes.
congratulations. That's not a small thing, so that's
So
beautiful to hear. Which taught you more about people, nursing or trucking?
nursing for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Which one has shown up more in your daily life, courage or resilience?
Both.
I would think so. Yeah, yeah, I would think so. Kathy, there's so much to unpack about your journey. And we've talked about some of your defining moments. And I do something that I like to call Flex Minute, which is your opportunity to brag on yourself, to talk about like some of the things that you're most proud of in your career, in your life,
Oh.
so that we can tell the world and let the world continue to know who you are. So take a deep breath. Please do not be ashamed of touting any of your experiences. This is the place to be like, and I
Okay,
did that, and I
one
did
second.
that, and I did that.
All right, I got some pictures. Sorry. Okay.
I will.
I do a lot of charity, like I said. I go to the Caribbean islands a lot, and when I go there, I don't just stay in a fancy posh hotel. And I bring me to the hood. I want to I want to be there where the people need me, right?
Yeah.
And so I always bring school supplies. I go to the little tots. I talk about good touch, bad touch. I'll go to the young girls, and I'll go to the boys club. And this picture speaks volumes. Can you see? I don't know if
Oh,
there's
I
a
see you
glare.
hugging it. It looks like a little kid.
It is. He's hugging me. I don't know. Can you see it there?
Yes, can see. We can see.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's hugging this picture. I wanted to scoop him up and take him home. I'm like, oh my God, the love. It's killing me. And these are students up in northern Canada on a
Yeah.
reserve that I did a whole self-esteem workshop with them. Do Everywhere I go, I make sure that I do these things for free. It's not about money. When I was hurting the most, you need the help. It's not about money. So I do this for free. Feed me, I'd be happy. And there's my children's book. This is my book, Dream Big, and our podcast, Women Road Warriors. We just won our third award for we're the #1 podcast in the UK for self-improvement. Yay! I have Operation Hydration. I give out free water to the homeless in every city I go to. I go buy loads of water and ice and coolers and just drive around giving out water. And you'd be surprised the lineup of people that come running for that.
Wow.
And I started a work boot recycling program up at work. Because when I first started Women Building Futures, I didn't have boots. And you want to talk about a
Mm.
barrier for a career? Boots, right? So to date, I have collected, recycled, and distributed over 12,000 pairs of used work boots and 5,000 hard hats. And I collected a whole sea can full of PPE, which is coveralls, jackets, pants. And those are given to programs that help people find jobs. So yeah, that's pretty good.
So, Kathy, you pour into young people. You pour into people who want to do the work that you're doing. When you say that you're a giver, you are clearly of someone who loves to give back. I know just looking at that wall, lots of people benefit from the work and the dedication you have put out there. So thank you for flexing. Letting the
You're
world know
welcome. Thanks.
who you are, even though I know there's so much more that you did not say. A couple more questions for you, Kathy. Name a truth you've learned along the way.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Name a truth I've learned along the way. I know. Old keys cannot unlock new doors.
Old keys
100%.
cannot unlock new doors. Are you saying evolve?
Yeah. It's like going back to old boyfriends, being stuck in routines, old things, right? Move on. Old keys cannot, your ways of thinking of old patterns, they're not going to open up new avenues. If you keep having one foot in the past, one foot in the, you know what I mean? You got to make a decision. Let go of the old key, New keys,
Unlocks new
yeah.
doors.
Old keys don't unlock new doors. That's my words of truth.
Okay. And complete this sentence. I
How to speak Spanish?
wish I knew how to speak
I'm
Spanish.
working on
Oh.
it. I'm working on it.
Well, that is our torchbearer of the month, Kathy Tuccaro. Kathy, how can people get in touch with you?
My website, www.kathytuccaro.com or womenroadwarriors.com.
Awesome. And for more information on Career Safari and all of the things we're doing to help women stay more connected and empowered in their career journeys, visit us at www.thecareersafari.com. We just updated our website, so there's a lot more out there for you. Join our Torchbearer community, follow us on social media, watch us on YouTube, and until then, continue to pass the torch. Bye, everybody.